Hey guys, today I wanted to do a brief video on suffering. Now this is a concept I've been meditating a lot on, and it's something I've experienced a lot of in my life. And for the most part, it was just meaningless suffering, meaning I was going through it, I was experiencing the pain, and it really had no meaning. I was seeking pleasure, but I was only getting pain and could not find joy or happiness in anything. And I think this is where a lot of people are at, and I wanted to make this video right now because the world is headed for some serious suffering. We've been suffering for the past 2 years, and I believe it's only just begun. And that might not be what some people want to hear, but that is where I believe we are. We all suffer. There is no avoiding it, and for most people, it is just meaningless pain that they seek to avoid, and instead of just embracing that suffering, they seek to hide it through pleasure. We do this through alcohol, we do this through drugs, we do this through food, we do this through sex. All of these little earthly pleasures, these little rewards, don't actually make us happy. Maybe it feels good in the moment, but it actually doesn't fill us. In fact, it leads us to an even greater attachment to these earthly desires of which we can never have enough. It's a perpetual hunger for something that doesn't actually fill us. This is evidenced by people who seemingly have it all. They have wealth, fame, whatever, and then they commit suicide. Why? It's because in all of that, they are still lacking the one thing that actually fills us, which is a reunification with God. And that is what we are seeking. We come into this world fallen, and there is a void there that we are seeking to fill with all these other material, earthly pleasures in the space of God. And until we actually realize that and set our pride aside, we cannot actually be reunified, and we will always have that hunger. I've really been inspired by the lives of the saints, and I've only really started kind of digging in there, and it seems like the appropriate time because it really offers a lot of inspiration. In the lives of the saints, you see people who have suffered greatly. They have inflicted the suffering upon themselves, giving up all earthly desires, wearing sackcloth, sleeping on a hard floor, maybe going without food for long periods of time. All of these methods inflicted great suffering upon their body, but in return what they gained was a deeper connection to God. So they gave up the pleasures of the material world to grow spiritually. And so when you see these saints, when you hear their words, when you look into their eyes, you see this peace, this bliss, this like inner joy. They don't need anything. They don't need anything at all except that connection to the divine. Now, contrast that with people in Las Vegas. You go to Las Vegas, you walk through the casinos, everybody's got this look in their eye. It's this hunger, it's this itch. Everybody there is fiending for something, whether it's sex, drugs, alcohol, that big win, everybody is just hungry for it. And no matter how much of it they get, it is never enough. When you study the lives of the saints, you realize there's an energy there that they have tapped into. There is a wholeness, there is a contentment, there is a feeling of being reunited with the divine. And so they can sit in a room on a cold floor all day long and just be perfectly happy. I mean, completely filled within themselves and with their connection to God. Now, I believe we are headed for some tough times. War, famine, disease, all of it. It's coming. It's here, and it's coming, and it's going to get worse. And I hate to tell people that, but that's just kind of how this is going to play out. Good times create weak men create hard times create strong men create good times. That is the cycle, and you guys know exactly where we're at in this cycle. We have become, especially in this country, we have become a society of weak men and women. Just mankind has become weak mentally, spiritually, and he's unwilling to suffer, which is why he's going to suffer even more. And for most people, it will have no meaning. It will just be, why is this happening? Please make it stop. But they won't know what to do about it. They will be completely lost and untethered because they do not have that connection to the divine and they do not seek it out. So I want to encourage everyone, as we're going forward, seek out that connection. That connection to God through Christ, that is what's going to keep you anchored during these turbulent times. That is going to be the foundation that you build upon, that will not get washed away by the rising floodwaters, which are getting increasingly higher every single day. I'd like to close with a quote from St. Silouan the Athonite. This is a quote that has just been really resonating with me. I find myself repeating it quite a bit, and it is, "Keep thy mind in hell and despair not." When you really think about what that means, it's pretty powerful. It's saying that, yes, you are going to suffer. And just because you embrace Christ, you create that connection to the divine, does not mean you will not suffer. But it will mean that you have the tools to deal with that suffering. It does mean that you will, instead of just looking at it as meaningless pain, you will use it to grow closer to God. And through that, you will find true joy. You will find true contentment. And you will be able to navigate these times. Anyway, I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.